Story of the Past, The Elephant Hunter and the Noble Elephant. Once upon a time, when Brahmadatta ruled at Benares, there dwelt at Benares a certain elephant hunter who made a living by killing elephants and marketing their tusks, claws, entrails, and solid flesh. Now in a certain forest, several thousand elephants found pasture. One day, when they went to the forest, they saw some private Buddhas. From that day, both going and coming, they fell down on their knees before the private Buddhas before proceeding on their way. One day the elephant hunter saw their actions. Thought he, "It is only with great difficulty that I can kill these beasts. But every time they come and go, they pay obeisance to the private Buddhas. What is it they see that makes them pay obeisance?" Coming to the conclusion that it was the yellow robe, he thought to himself, "I too ought to get a yellow robe immediately." So he went to a pool used by a certain private Buddha, and while the latter was bathing and his robes lay on the bank, stole his robes. Then he went and sat down on the path by which the elephants came and went, with a spear in his hand and the robe drawn over his head. The elephants saw him, and taking him for a private Buddha, paid obeisance to him and then went their way. The elephants which came last of all, he killed with a thrust of his spear. And taking the tusks and other parts which were of value and burying the rest of the dead animal in the ground, he departed. Later on, the future Buddha, who had been reborn as an elephant, became the leader of the elephants and the lord of the herd. At that time also the elephant hunter was pursuing the same tactics as before. The great being observed the diminution of his retinue and asked, "Where do these elephants go that this herd has become so small?" "That we do not know, master." The great being thought to himself, "Wherever they go, they must not go without my permission." Then the suspicion entered his mind. The fellow who sits in a certain place with a yellow robe drawn over his head must be causing the trouble. He will bear watching. So the leader of the herd sent the other elephants on ahead and brought up the rear himself, walking very slowly. When the rest of the elephants had paid obeisance and passed on, the elephant hunter saw the great being approach, whereupon he gathered his robe together and threw his spear. The great being fixed his attention as he approached, and stepping backwards, avoided the spear. "This is the man who killed my elephants," thought the great being, and forthwith sprang forwards to seize him. But the elephant hunter jumped behind a certain tree and crouched down. Thought the great being, "I will encircle both the hunter and the tree with my trunk, seize the hunter, and dash him to the ground." Just at that moment, the hunter removed the yellow robe and allowed the elephant to see it. When the great being saw it, he thought to himself, "If I offend against this man, the reverence which thousands of Buddhas, private Buddhas, and Arahats feel towards me will of necessity be lost." Therefore he kept his patience. Then he asked the hunter, "Was it you that killed all these kinsmen of mine?" "Yes, master," replied the hunter. "Why did you do so wicked a deed?" "You have put on robes which become those who are free from the passions, but which are unbecoming to you. In doing such a deed as this, you have committed a grievous sin." So saying, he rebuked him again for the last time, saying, "Whoever, not free from impurity, lacking self-restraint and truth, puts on the yellow robe, he is not worthy of the yellow robe. Whoever is free from impurity, firmly established in the moral precepts, possessed of self-restraint and truth, he is worthy of the yellow robe. Unbecoming is the deed you have done," said he. This is the end of the story. This is the conclusion. When the teacher had ended this lesson, he identified the characters in the Jataka as follows. At that time, the elephant hunter was Devadatta, and the noble elephant who rebuked him was I myself.